Hello, race fans. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we have the RSR Cup Series here tonight for the Stay Off the Wall 140 here at the Richmond Raceway from the RSR Cup Series. Round number 8 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Looking beautiful under the lights here in Richmond, Virginia with the Cup cars here as these guys take on practice, getting warmed up here. But remember, the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting is brought to you by some proud sponsors here that make it all happen. Or Nissan Central is the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com. We also have Sheffield Graphics being a wonderful partner here at the Evolution Racing League, as they are the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was found by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics and tell them that Freaky Fast sent you. Next, we have ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air like a traditional speaker, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful bass response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com to feel what you've been missing, and you can use FreakyFast20 to get 20% off on any purchase there at ButtKicker.com. Thank you to all the proud sponsors here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting help make it happen here tonight for round number 8 of the Stay Off the Wall 140 year from the Richmond Raceway. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth alongside me will be Brandon Colley calling the shots here, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. up here running the cameras, giving all you the live action here from the Richmond Raceway. But man, Brandon, we got round number 8 here tonight, looking strong so far in this practice. It is going to be a fantastic night of racing, I think, here for 140 laps.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing how these guys can sling these heavy cup cars around this 3/4 mile short track here in Richmond, Virginia. And man, these guys, I'm not envying them. Normally I'm like, man, I wish I'd be out there racing. I love this. And tonight I'm glad I'm up in the booth. These cars are looking pretty wicked out here and just on ice. So these guys are going to have their hands full throughout this entire race.
Yeah, hands full this entire race. This track is slick and very tough to keep a hold of here as this race progresses. We're going to have to watch these drivers manhandle these cup cars and really take control of what is given to them here for this racetrack. But looking at the points here tonight, looks like Cody McCauley is going to enter as our points leader. Second's going to be Dylan Reed in that 131. Third's going to be Trevor Massetti. Fourth, John Willett. And fourth, and tied for fourth with John Willett is Curtis Preston. Rounding out the top 5 will be Travis Everett in the 59. So some very close standings here through the first 8 rounds and a lot of different winners through this first 8 rounds of races. It's been fantastic so far. But Brandon, I know you got a little bit more information on what we're expected to see here from these cars tonight as these drivers attack this racetrack.
Well, Zach, the name of the game tonight is going to be throttle input and brake input management and quick risks. You're going to need quick reaction times here, and you've got to be steady on your pedal inputs. Getting into the corner, brake a little bit too hard, it's going to want to spin out. A little bit too hard on the gas out of the corner, it's going to want to spin out. These guys are going to have to be on top of their game the entire race. They're never going to have a moment to just sit and relax. Maybe under caution, but that's about it. As far as fuel mileage, these guys can stretch it just at 44 laps, but if you hit 44 laps, you're probably going to be sputtering by the time you come in. So expect a fuel window of about 38 to 42 laps, well within the stage breaks here for tonight's race. And only 3 sets of tires in the pits, and tires are going to be at a premium, especially how slick this track is. These guys are going to be chewing them up coming off the corners tonight, and you're going to need to if you want to get the strong runs off the corner to set up a pass to the inside for the next set of corners, Zach.
Yeah, setting people up off that exit is going to be a crucial part we see here tonight at the RSR Cup Series for the Richmond Raceway. You know, I'm seeing a lot of guys, too, try to get everything they can entering turn 1, and sometimes that's going to end up being a big mistake, losing that rear end. I've already seen a few guys losing that rear end, going down into turn one, trying to get everything they can. That corner is very tricky there on entry.
Yeah, and you can carry a lot of speed out of turn four and get a massive run down the front stretch here. But let me tell you, the second you go to make any kind of wheel input or step on the brakes, the car immediately wants to start snapping into the corner there. So before you're even in the corner, it's already starting to feel free, and you overdrive just a little bit, and you're going to find your rear end into the fence.
Very possible to do here at the Richmond Raceway. It looks like practice just coming to an end here as these drivers will now go into their 5-minute qualifying session here to see what our starting lineup is here tonight. See if we can win that Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here. Kevin Giadrich leads the practice with a 21:108. See if anybody can match that time here as we head off into qualifying. I tell you what, the big thing I'm noticing right now from even just looking at our drivers out here, our top two drivers in points are not out here tonight, and Cody McCauley and Dylan Reed. So both those drivers missing tonight, that could have a huge factor on the points leaving here tonight.
Absolutely. They're going to be losing quite a bit of points tonight. Don't want to have to make that up later. And if they're out by just a couple of points come playoff time, it's not going to be good for either one of them. They're going to be kicking themselves here for missing this race. But a lot of other guys, they're seeing that and going, man, I've got a lot of chance here to grab a bunch of points. Just got to have a really good race out of it and grab as much as I can here and close that gap.
Yes, they will have to close that gap because this is the easy way to do it when someone misses the race. So it'll be a good time to be able to close that gap up, see who can get that regular season championship. But at the moment, qualifying has just started to take place. Looks like Craig Burns' first car to jump to the top of the board. As I believe now it's Matthew Rush up top. GT Irizarry now in that 14, putting himself up at the top of the board with a 21:45. No times yet low like we've seen in in practice. But we'll have to see if those second laps can be the best.
And I'm imagining that the second lap is going to be your hot lap. Again, same thing we talked about in the ARC race just a little while ago. These fresh tires are so slick, and it takes a while to get the heat build up. So you just take it real easy on the first lap and go for the hot lap on the second one there.
Yes, and you're seeing seeing the replication of the second lap being the lap as Curtis Preston there on his second lap puts it up on the top spot for himself. Look at Matthew Rush there in second. That's good qualifying position. Travis Everett there puts it up on third. Craig A. Burns fourth. Michael Sheffield, great qualifying spot for him too in fifth. And we heard Sheffield could be one to watch out tonight with that long run pace in that car.
Yeah, and that's par for the course, I think, for Michael Sheffield. He just always seems to be one of the drivers that is always got long run speed at every track we go to. And I've been told to keep a close eye on him tonight. If he can keep the fenders clean, he's going to have a lot of speed for the long runs.
See who can pull off this Sheffield Graphics Pole Award right now. It is Curtis Preston at the moment in this 29, looking like he's going to hang on to it. But top man in practice of Kevin Giadrich yet to put a time down. It looks like he'll be the last driver to put a lap time down. And the 9 of Kevin Giadrich is going to go here and start his lap to see what he can put down in this number 9 machine, see if he can put it on pole, because I'll tell you what, he was bad fast in practice, man.
Well, looking at his speed across the line there, he's on par to set down that quick time to put himself at the top of the board. I'll have to see how he executes. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle, not going to help, but got another chance here to set it back up. See him going in wide into turn 3, arcing it back down, and carrying as much speed as he can out of 4 to set up this lap here.
Yeah, I think the second lap is going to be the money lap. There's a 21:56. That puts him 18th on the board. Here comes the second lap. Are the tires up to heat? Here he rips the bottom here, exiting 2. A little bit of playing with the gas there from this number 9. Here he heads down to 3 and 4 for the final time on his qualifying lap. Let's see what type of time he can pull out here. Fastest man in practice. What is it? It's a 21:26 to the top of the board by a tenth of a second. He has held that title or that top spot by a tenth now in both sessions we've had.
Well, it does not bode well for the rest of the field here, but lap traffic can play havoc with the leaders, no matter how far out you get or how fast you are. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that.
We definitely will, but Kevin Giadrich, he has laid the gauntlet down here tonight, and he has put himself in that Sheffield Graphics pole position. And what a qualifying lap it was here, as we got a little less than 2 seconds to go here in qualifying. Looks like all drivers have went ahead and already took time. So that pretty much will be the end of qualifying. But man, oh man, after looking at these times, super close throughout this whole entire field. Great lap though for Matthew Rush. That is cool to see because he was a top 4 contender last season. Hadn't had the great success throughout this first part of the season here, but he has been able to position himself up third right now for this race.
Absolutely, and Matthew Rush was the guy I was out on track with most during their practice session, and talking about different brake biases and steering configuration stuff like that. So I knew he was going to have a good bit of speed, and he's backing up right now with that third place.
Yeah, I mean, 7 starts this season, 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s after making the Final Four last season. He is definitely in need of a bounce back here as he enters the night 18th in points. So we'll see if he can bounce that back. But yep, qualified has come to you. Kevin Giadricic is your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. And we'll go ahead and pull up our qualifying results here and let you know what the starting grid here tonight for the Stay Off the Wall 140 here at Richmond Raceway. Here it is. Kevin Giadricic is bringing that pole position. Second's going to go to the 29 of Curtis Preston. Third's going to be Matthew Rush. Fourth, Travis Everett. Fifth, Craig A. Burns. Sixth is Michael Sheffield. Seventh, Ryan Bean. Eighth, Dustin Stallings. Ninth, GT Rosari. And rounding out the top 10 is Nolan Pyre in the 34.
Tony Ludi in 11th place, Harold Watkins in 12th, Andrew Little in 13th, Nathan Campbell 14th, James Courtrow 15th, Trevor Massetti 16th, Chad Biesinger 17th, John Willett in the 81 and 18th, Kevin Sabilla 19th, and Rusty Modesty in 20th.
Daniel Gonzalez will start in the 21st position. 22nd's going to go to Bob Fitzpatrick. 23rd, Kevin Ruff in that 112 after his win last week at Martinsville. 24th is Junior Miller. 25th, Zach Stritton-Thrall. 26th will go to Brock Potter. 27th, Kevin Zabodil. 28th, Ryan E. Zell. 29th, David Hall. And rounding out the top 30 is Jeff Carson.
Anthony Yunes in 31st, Michael Martino in 32nd, Adam Buzzio 33rd, Mark Andre Thibodeau in 34th, and Stephen Baldwin in 35th to round out your field.
Yes, that is your starting grid here tonight from the RSR Cup Series from the Evolution Racing Leagues. Man, oh man, the Stay Off the Wall 140 is getting ready to begin, and we are hyped up here in the booth to kick it off here at Richmond tonight. We got stages at lap 40 and lap 80, Brandon. With a 40% fuel load, these drivers should be able to make it to those stages with those fuel loads, but I tell you what, that last stage for 60 laps, that will not be doable.
Absolutely won't be, and they're going to have to try to plan when they're going to make that stop during the last and final stage here and take their final set of tires as well.
And now we will pull up our Graphics pole winner here tonight as we have 2 pace laps. So we'll bring Kevin Giadricic up here and let him have a chat here with Brandon Collett.
Hey, Kevin, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, backing up your practice lap with that flying qualifying lap, put yourself on the pole here to take the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award. And I got to ask, what are the keys to getting around this place? It looks pretty slick out there in these Cup cars.
Yeah, man. I think the big thing is going to be patience.
Just a lot of patience getting back to the throttle, I imagine, because it looks pretty loose on exit for sure. And hopefully you can come out of this thing pretty good position. Had some bad luck here lately. Hopefully turn it back around, and we'll talk to you either one of these stage breaks or maybe at the end of this thing. So I got to wish you the best of luck in that, bud.
Yeah, I sure do appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I'll talk to y'all here in a bit.
All right. That was Kevin Giadricic, your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight. Like you said, patience. That's the key here tonight. And I completely agree with this driver. You're going to have to be patient to get around the Richmond Raceway here tonight with not only the drivers around you, but with your car itself, because these things are a beast.
Absolutely right. And I imagine we're going to see a couple issues just off of turn 2 especially. And hopefully these guys can sort it out and keep this thing rolling.
Yes, they look to come around this time to take the green flag. Green flag is in the air. Round number 8 here, kicked off for the RSR Cup Series as we head down to turn 1. Kevin Giadricic leading the way in that number 9. Curtis Preston going to look to fight around the outside. It's going to be side by side for the lead as they exit off of 2.
Well, I don't know about the short run, Zach, but I've heard that the outside lane here, especially when the tires wear in, can be very viable. We're gonna have to see guys when they decide to start moving up to that outside lane to make passes work.
We'll have to see. That's the beauty of the Richmond Raceway multi-groove racing here. We can definitely see that happen here, as right now it's single filed out as right now in the third position, getting fought by Matthew Russ and Travis Everett. We'll have to see which driver can come out ahead of that. With that 11 of Matthew Russ trying to fight on the inside. It looks like the 59 Travis Everett will make the pass on the outside. Now Ryan Bean starting to get in the picture in that number 25 Alto machine.
Well, teammate Craig Burns looking to challenge him for that spot on the outside. Going to follow suit, though, in line. And now it looks like everybody's starting to get single filed out.
Yeah, everybody being nice and patient. They're definitely taking the wise advice from the 9 of Kevin G. Anderson, being nice and patient here early in the going here at the Richmond Raceway. It's showing out here on racetrack, and these drivers are definitely trying to, you try to get into a rhythm at a short track, and I think that's what a lot of these drivers just really need to fall into, is that rhythm.
Yeah, and it really helps when you've got the full track to work with. You're getting single filed out. If you've got somebody that you're having a battle with, you can't really get back to your normal throttle inputs, your normal braking inputs, having to brake a little bit earlier, a little bit later, getting back to the throttle a little bit more gingerly. It messes with your rhythm, and you gotta wait until you get single file out. Just run some laps, tick some boxes there, and figure out what the balance is, and then get after it and make some adjustments.
And we just seen there riding on board Craig Burns here in that 6th position. You've seen the 25 of Ryan Bean move himself up to that 4th position ahead of Matthew Rush, directly ahead of Craig here. So great movement already for Ryan Bean, that 25. He's 7th to 4th already, looking strong in that machine.
Seeing the hint of some guys being a little bit passive right now, just trying to take care of their stuff, make sure that they've got a good handle on the car, and not really take too many chances, which always a smart thing to do, especially to short track this early into the race. And other guys looking like they're really wanting to push the issue, kind of charge to the front here and make use of their tires while they're fresh.
Some drivers trying to use their tires. I tell you what, one of those drivers may be John Ouellette. He's battling with Harold Watkins back here in the 22 right here for that 12th position. Ouellette started in the 18th. He's already challenging for that 12th spot. He's got Trevor Massetti directly behind him, as the 81 is trying to charge up through the field here from a not too great qualifying lap.
Yeah, and I've got to give it to these guys. Watching these battles, I'm not really seeing anybody shaking the tail feathers, as Lee Tidwell would say. They're pretty solid coming off the corners.
Yeah, I think that's just a lot of these guys are like you said, the keyword patience. They're being patient on that throttle, being smart, methodical. And a lot of these guys, got to give them credit here at the RSR Cup Series. A lot of these guys put in the work to make sure we had a great show here tonight at the Richmond Raceway, and it's definitely proven so far in these opening 10 laps.
Oh, absolutely. Not even just team practice sessions, but the league itself has put up a number of practice sessions throughout the week to get these guys out running around each other, get a feel for the track and the conditions, and it's really showing right now. You put the time in, you get really good results out of it.
Putting the time in is definitely working out for a lot of these drivers right now, Brandon. They're really showing that this is a class field here at the RSR Cup Series here. We see it each and every week. Now, some weeks, some tracks are going to cause more mayhem. And I tell you what, this Richmond track can be one of those tracks that causes mayhem, but these drivers are being fantastic with the racing that they're showing here early in stage number 1.
Yeah, and it's unique to Richmond. It's one of the more difficult short tracks, I'd say, just in my experience. And obviously, other people are going to have their own opinion. Oh, Bob Fitzpatrick.
Oh, no, in the 3 machine.
Nice save. Got a little bit loose out of 2. Good save out of him. Not going to be really happy with the tires right now, but clean car, can't complain.
Yeah, clean car can't complain, that's for sure. You'll take that here at Richmond. Anything could happen at any moment. Car could be very well in trouble, but the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick here able to save it. There's a little smoke in front of him. I'm not sure if someone had some type of mistake up ahead, but man, I tell you, this track is just so tricky. It's what it is it's just putting the power down. That's always been one of the things, in my opinion, that's been so tough. You exit off a 4, you got that wheel in it to keep it turning left because of that D-shaped oval.
Ooh.
and it just really gets loose.
Yeah, a little bit of contact here going into 4. They keep it going, but yeah, like you're saying, that's the biggest struggle here in Richmond. It's just the throttle input, just really being easy on it and learning how to be easy on it. And it's one of those tracks that when you figure it out, the track is really easy, but if you ain't figured it out just yet, it is a nightmare to drive around this place.
I tell you what, we've seen right here, right on board with Trevor, but said it could be a nightmare when you have the rear tires off the ground at the 81 of that there goes to the inside of the 52 of Nathan Campbell. They make a little contact that shoves the 52 of the racetrack, and I tell you what, it got wild there for a minute. Great save from the 52 of Nathan Campbell though, coming off the 4.
Yeah, I've been flicking back here toward the back end of the field and looking at these battles, and good bit of contact back here. Bob Fitzpatrick had some more issues, got into the back of another car, and now he's definitely not got a clean car anymore.
Yeah, a little bit of contact back here with some drivers. And it's like I said, the place can cause mayhem, man. It's really, really strong. Now they're looking at Junior Miller here, looking at his nice paint scheme there on that thing. Very metallic. I think that thing looks like a mirror, Brandon. You can look at yourself in the mirror right there.
Yeah, all them shiny stars and stripes over there. Nice looking paint scheme. Also got to point out Mike Martino looks like he's got a nice matte and chrome embossed paint scheme with his Kool-Aid man. I was admiring that one during practice, looking pretty slick as well.
Oh, yes, he does. And you can see right there, look at that 75. Nice and good looking from that Kool-Aid man car. Oh, yeah. Out there on the racetrack doing a fantastic job at the moment right down in that 75. And directly ahead of him is David Hall in that 21. He's got a little bit of damage on the nose. So a few of these drivers are already suffering some nose damage. That's a common theme you'll see here from this racetrack there a lot tonight.
Yeah, not going to hurt you too bad having the nose damage. The biggest thing that I worry about is how far out these cars rev by the time they get into turn 1, especially if you get a really good exit at turn 4. You're really at the end of the range for the engine, and if you're having problems with the nose, could potentially cause a lot of overheating issues, and you might have to worry about that later as the run goes on.
I'll tell you what we're going to have to worry about is the leader of Kevin Jadrosic is going to start to get in lap traffic here in the next 5 to 10 laps here. He's about 2 seconds back from the back of this pack, and they're closing in about 3 or 4 tenths a lap. And this is where it's going to get interesting because our stage comes down to 40, and at 40, as you can see here, we're right on board with Kevin Jadrosic. You can see the tail end of the lead lap there is Stephen Baldwin in that 35th position right now. 23 laps in, we got to get to lap 40. So a few of these drivers are definitely going to be going a lap down here. I can see if we stay green, and we're just have to see what Jadrosic can do to get through traffic here.
Yeah, he talked about patience, and he's going to have to show a lot of it here dealing with lap traffic. You do not want to almost force yourself into an issue as the leader, just trying to make something happen, getting around lap traffic. Just as patient and as nice and clean as you possibly can, and hope that these guys realize, hey, man, this is the leader. Let me just scoot out of the way here and give it to him.
I tell you who's going to want him not to give it to him is Curtis Preston. If he wants a chance to win this stage here, he's going to hope this number 9 can get held up just a teeny bit by this lap traffic. Now give him a shot. But here, look at Ryan Bean. He's trying to fight off GT Rosari, who I tell you what, he's been coming forward here. He's going to go up into the top 4 now from 9.
Yeah, GT Rosari with the new Mustang Week Ford Mustang out here. Some new colors on that car. Just trying to show off the new slick scheme. Making a run up here for the top 3.
Looking very strong right now in that 14 machine, man. He is I like that. It's it's similar to what he's been running, the Mustang Week scheme, but I like that red. It's a very like almost it's that metallic cherry gloss almost red on it. It's very nice.
Yeah,
He's in with his teammate
nice candy
too.
apple.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like a candy apple, exactly. And I tell you what, right now he's the fastest car on this racetrack.
Yeah, I was looking at the lap times, and talking about Curtis Preston needing Kevin to get held up. He doesn't need him to get held up that much because he's been running a little bit quicker every lap, just by a couple hundredths. Last time by a little bit slower, but before that they've been making up a pretty good amount of time. But like you said, GT looking to be the quickest car on the track right now, and he's looking now to take the third position from his teammate Travis Everett.
Look at this run here down the back straightaway. Look at the inside teammate Travis Everett here as they go down to 3 and 4. He's going to get to the inside lane, try to work over Travis here as they exit off of floor. It's going to get a little tight 3 wide here between Michael Martino, but Everett gives it to his teammate of GT. Sorry, that's third position for that number 14. See if he can track down this 29 and possibly this 9 here, because we'll be coming by this time 10 to go in the stage.
Yeah, down within a second now for Curtis Preston to Kevin Jadricic, and GT now moving up to the third position, looking to run down Curtis Preston. I don't know if GT is going to have quite enough to be able to get to the lead. Second definitely within reach here, but stage isn't over yet. A lot can happen here. There's a good pack of lap cars in front of our leader currently.
Big pack of lap cars directly ahead of Kevin Jadricic. About 4 cars directly here, and it's David Hall, the 27 of Marc-Andre Thibodeau, Jeff Carson in that 081, the 17 to Kevin Zabladil, all on top of each other right here. And tell you what, push. It's gonna get interesting because it's gonna catch him right here at the end of the stage, and he's got to go because he's got, like you said, Curtis Preston less than a second behind.
Well, and another side to that equation is these guys know how close it is to the end of the stage. They're going to be fighting really hard to be either the lucky dog or just stay from getting put a lap down here. So he's going to have a difficult time passing these guys, I imagine.
Yeah, because you don't want to go a lap down here. That's definitely a fact. I mean, if you go a lap down, if you stay the first car, it's all right because you're a lucky dog. But then you got to start telling the longest line. It just gets difficult. And right here, you're going to try to do your best not to hold the leader up, but also try to stay on the lead lap. As here's Jadricic is past the 27 of Marc-Andre Thibodeau and David Hall. And that's a good thing to see for him, as he did lose a good little bit of time, as you see Preston there now closing in on the back of those 2 lap cars.
Yeah, but now Curtis Preston's got to decide how to get around these guys battling side by side here, just letting Kevin kind of slip away in the distance. But now under fire from his teammate, who's finally made up the ground directly behind him.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think before the end of this race is over, we're going to see possibly this number 14 in that lead. He's just looking really strong right now, I gotta say, about GT. He looks smooth and consistent, and he's been continuing to march his way forward. And it could be that night that he breaks through and gets that win tonight.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I think if that were the case, he's going to be changing up his paint scheme every week here, because that seems to be what the magic is tonight. Talking about somebody that's moving forward, the 81 of John Willett up to 10th right now, kind of running on his own here, just running his own race, just trying to make it to the end of the stage and get that final position for stage points.
Trying to get everything they can here. Shout out to Kevin Dowd out there in the chat. He says, shout out to Casey Kuntz. He says, get well soon, Casey, and good luck to Jeff Carson filling in for him for Front Row Racing. And that's right, get well soon, Casey Kuntz. It'll be good to see you back out there, but Jeff Carson's doing a great job in that 081. As you see there, he just was actually on our screen, so that was a good little shout there time for him. But yeah, I hope you get well soon, Casey.
And this about front pack of 6 or so cars, really kind of right on top of each other. Haven't really let anybody slip away too far, Zach.
Yeah, they really haven't. I mean, our top 9 are separated by 3.2 seconds. That is just impressive to see. And a lot of guys up here are just looking really strong in the late going of this run here. So I'm excited for that final stage, even though we won't be able to do the whole distance on tires. It still will be exciting as the white flag is out here for stage number 1 for Kevin Jadricic. One final time there is GT Rosari now up to second. Actually, side-by-side battling teammate Curtis Preston for that second position here as they exit off the 2 down to 3 and 4.
Well, I imagine GT should be able to make this pass pretty well here. Curtis Preston can have a good run. Ooh, little wiggle.
Yes, he will. GT Rosari up to second, but Kevin Jadricic will be your stage 1 winner here tonight from the Richmond Raceway. Here, congrats to Kevin. and it's looking strong so far. We got 4 sets of tires here tonight, Brandon, and that's going to be interesting here because we got the 2 stages. So it looks like you're going to be pitting there, taking at least probably a set here and another set at the next stage. So I'll give them 1 for that final 60 laps. I think that's the way you want to kind of play it out. I don't think you want to take a chance here and not take tires, in my opinion.
Well, that was going to be the question I asked, if you thought maybe somebody's going to take a gamble here, knowing that you're going to get a caution in another 40 laps. Do you decide to try to make it on the set of tires you have here, save a little extra set for the end there, just in case you might need it should there be a late caution?
Well, if we get any or Nissan Central cautions, it could play out that way for these drivers here as they hit pit road this time for stage number 1 here tonight. Caution is out and brought to you by or Nissan Central. Here's these guys hit pit road, and as Lee would say, it's a pit party.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the thing, but yeah, it's a pit party.
Yeah, same. We'll leave that to Lee.
Yeah, my neighbors wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, I don't think the people in my home would be very happy. They might wake up. As here the guys hitting pit road. We'll see if Giadricic can win the race off, or does anybody pull some strategy to get out front here. At the moment, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Giadricic's first one out, as he's your stage winner. He will lead us back to green. But now we'll go ahead and dial Kevin Giadricic up here after we talk to him for winning the pole. Let's hear what he has to say on winning stage number 1 here tonight at the Richmond Raceway.
Hey, Kevin, Brandon in the booth again, but you still got your ears on.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Well, man, great first stage there, and you talked about patience, and you showed a lot of it navigating that lap traffic. Looked like the cars are a lot more stable than I was expecting. Are you finding that kind of the same?
I mean, yeah, I believe they are a little bit more stable than what I expected. Especially if you're trying to, if you got the patience, I think it feels better than what you thought it would.
Well, looking at the cars running behind you here, looked like the 14 was pretty quick. Is there anybody that you're seeing right now that late in that run you maybe need to keep your eye on?
I mean, I'm always looking for, Curtis, GT, Travis. Some of my teammates, which, they're not here. It sucks. But Curtis, GT, Travis, those guys. I just think it's hard to judge it right now, too early in the race.
Well, hopefully you have just as strong of a stage 2 here. Putting on a clinic so far, doesn't look like anybody really has much for you, even on the long run. So, wish you the best of luck for stage 2, and hopefully we'll talk to you for the next stage break, bud.
Hope to talk to you guys later.
All right, that was Kevin Giadricic. Harry said hopes to talk to us later. Tell you what, the way he's driving, I wouldn't put it past him here tonight. It's going to take a lot to knock this man off the top spot. He's looked very, very strong. But we'll get to see here this next restart here, what he has in store for us for stage number 2. As this race is clicking off pretty quickly. We're under 100 to go here at the Richmond Raceway. And these guys are doing a fantastic job. I mean, races that you have a lot of cautions happen. And, I want to bring that up because last week we had a lot of cautions. I mean, it plain and simple at Martinsville didn't play out, I think, the way a lot of the guys were hoping for, But tonight, the bounce back for these guys, it's really good to see. And that shows you have a resilient group that doesn't let one week get them down. And it shows that, these guys can bounce back and race hard and then stay clean at the same time.
Absolutely, especially going from one short track to another where you'd kind of be like, okay, well, we got a lot of cautions last week, same type of race, might get the same thing, but they really put in the time this week, made sure with the league sessions here, and it's going pretty well so far.
Yes, it is going pretty well. There it is, green flag back in the air here to start stage number 2. Kevin Giadricic is leading us down to turn 1. Looks like GT is already going to get inside here, but our second caution of the night, brought to you by or Nissan Central, is out. And we had some type of incident here on this restart. We'll try to figure out exactly. It looks like it may have started around the 6th of Rusty Modesty, guys. And looks like a little involved, multiple cars involved. And I think this may have been a mistake on a shift. Here's we'll go back on the freaky fast replay here. Watching the number 6 of Rusty Modesty going through the gears here on the restart. And I don't know if he missed a shift or put it in reverse. It's definitely interesting there because that car just broke loose in a straight line, and that is unfortunate for Junior Miller in a 28. Heavy hit for him. The 68 Andrew Little, multiple cars involved in this, and that's really just a simple mistake for one of the drivers.
Yeah, looking at it, Zach, it's hard to say. Uh, Went up to the rev range and it shifted and the RPMs dropped a little bit, but still hung at about 8,000, and then the car broke loose. So it didn't overrev like a normal downshift would, but very strange.
Yeah, that was interesting. Listening to it there, it's like he almost went to neutral. And I don't know. That's yeah, that is very very interesting. Just listening to it. So unfortunate there for the 6 Rusty Mossy, the 68 Andrew Little, and that 28 Junior Miller. Got a few other cars involved in this also. It looks like the 081 Jeff Carson involved, Kevin Sabilla. Looks like Michael Martino, the 13 Tony Ludi. Multiple cars involved in this or Nissan Central caution here for that second one. Unfortunate to see. But man, short track, you can possibly get some of those cars fixed up just enough.
Yeah, and we talked about it. It's not going to hurt you too bad to have a little bit of damage. And getting it fixed, it's a hassle to have to come down and get it fixed, especially if you've got a lot. You've really got to manage where the cars are on the track and not get put a lap down trying to get it fixed. But you still can have a lot of speed with a lot of nose damage. Even if I think if you're missing your front clip there running a modified out here, you can still get around here with pretty good pace.
We'll have to see what those drivers can do to come back from that incident there. But I tell you what, GT is already now up to that second position in that Mustang weak Ford Mustang. Looking good so far from ninth to second. He's looking very strong. And I believe we also have out in our Facebook chat, we got Brad out there saying go number 14 Mustang wheat car. Yes, he's doing fantastic so far. So we might be able to see that Mustang wheat car challenge that Chevy Camaro right in front of it. What'd I do? I'm confused, but oh, they're saying I jinxed him. Hey, GT, he'll be all right. Trust me, GT will be just fine. He's a man that can stand through the commentator curse.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we did just talk about how they had cleaned up so well from Martinsville last week, and then immediately they wrecked on the restart. So
I am somewhat of a curse. I do admit that. That's for sure, actually. So you never know. You never know. Racing is a mixed bag, man. You never know what you're gonna get. But it looks like
I'm not doing that.
You know you're not going. Okay.
There was a joke in there, but I was like, nope, low hanging fruit, too easy.
Okay. He said it was too easy. We'll see about that one. Here's the pace car pulls in this time, and we'll go back green flag racing here at the RSR Cup Series. Green flag back in the air. Kevin G. Outershit's down and away. What a restart for him. Looks like Curtis Preston going to do the swap with teammate GT Irizarry there for that third position.
Well, looking at that restart, saw a couple wiggles out of some guys, and it's not something we're really going to see on fresh tires, but if they're wiggling on fresh tires on a restart, if they have to have a restart on older tires, we may see another issue like we saw with Rusty Modesty with some wheel spin.
Yeah, that's very possible. We can definitely see some issues with wheel spin. As the 81 of John Willett getting in there deep behind Craig Burns there, a little close for comfort there on the back end of that 12, but he navigates that well as we're around the back bumper of this number 12.
John Willett, 12 into the wall just a little bit, really opening the door for John Willett there to make it to the inside going into turn one here, but the outside lane on the restarts has been rolling pretty well for a while, so Craig Burns is definitely not going to make this easy on John.
That outside lane is, I would never call it a preferred groove, but it's a place where you can be pesky. You can just if you're just smart about your entry and exit, you can really hold a guy up on the outside here. It's I mean, you see it right now. Look at the 12. He's just getting back to that quarter panel of that 81 as the exit corner. I don't think he'll be able to do it this time. As the 81's going to clear him with John Willett. That's going to put him up to the 7th or the 6th position now, and that number 81 from that 18th starting spot.
Exactly like you said, it's pesky, it's frustrating. You're not going to be able to make the pass this early in the run on the outside like that, but you're just hanging there and hanging there and hanging there, and it really frustrates the guy on the inside. Like, come on, man, I've got you. Why can't you just roll out of it, let me go? And sometimes that frustration will boil over. Might be able to force a guy into a mistake and keep that position.
Yeah, frustrations boil over at short tracks very typically. So you never know what you can cause by driving a guy a certain way here, man. I tell you what, it's a tough racetrack, but one of my favorite by far, just because you really can just race. It's one of the most racy short tracks on all of iRacing, where you can just really set somebody up and be good in certain parts of the track and really use that to your advantage here, as we see a lot of drivers trying to do that right now. But tell you what, last week's winner, Kevin Ruff, right now, he's challenging Nolan Potter, our winner from Vegas, there for that 5th or that 14th position right now. And he's going to look to the inside, take that 14th position. So our past 2 winners right here knows the tale.
Yeah, duking it out right here, looking to have a crossover on the inside from that 34. And, what you talked about, it's a short track with options. That's what makes this place so much fun. There's just so many different things you can do besides, like a Martinsville, where you're kind of just stuck riding the same groove, just hoping for a little wiggle, maybe slightly better run to try to do something. You can do a lot more at a place like Richmond to set up passes.
Yeah, what makes it really fun is you really can use that second groove. Martinsville, you can do it, but it's way harder, in my opinion, to make it work successfully. But here at Richmond, you can really dime in that corner, really take a completely different line than your competition, and set them up as 3 wide here. Kevin Zabadil to the inside of Brock Potter in that 4, and the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. Man, oh man, what a pass for that 17 as he goes by all 3 of them.
Yeah, bold move, Cotton.
Bold move, Cotton, that's for sure. Looks like here we got a battle heating up here for this top 5 spots here, as Curtis Preston has not let Giadricic get away this time, and I tell you what, GT is already not too far behind teammate Curtis Preston. It's definitely going to be a interesting race for into stage number 2.
Well, it could be a number of things factoring in here. Maybe Kevin's just taking it a little bit easier, or maybe these teammates have kind of found something, or it could be just that for whatever reason, I know that you've experienced it, Zach, that after you change tires, for some reason the track is just completely different and you can't get the feel back that you had before, and it just seems to cost you a good bit of time.
Oh, for sure. There's plenty of times, these tracks go through a big change, especially with the conditions we have. I mean, we start with 10% rubber here at the RSR Cup series, then they have a 30-minute practice that, it carries over from qualifying and from practice to this race. So they start with limited rubber on this racetrack, and they apply it down themselves where they're running. And I tell you what, the track changes immensely over the course of rubber, especially in the version 7 tire model we have on iRacing at the moment. Rubber is king. So wherever that rubber is, you want to be there.
Yeah, and if you're wanting to try to spread out the line, you got to spend a lot of time doing that in practice, because doing it in the race is just going to cost you a whole bunch of time and really eat up your tires as well. A lot of kind of planning there for the races, and you can see the rubber build up quite a bit on this inside lane here through turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's getting pretty dark.
Yeah, and, this is one of the toughest things, in my opinion, about practicing for races. You don't really get the same conditions. When you're practicing by yourself, it's one car out there, heating up that strip of rubber, heating up that groove, and just one car affecting. And if you have multiple cars out there, you get different rubber in different places. Other lines become better. The the more rubber you lay down in this tire model, it really likes where that rubber's at. And during races, you'll get different conditions than you normally would in a solo car practice session. So it's something when you get in a race, you kind of got to learn as you go. And I tell you who's learning as they go, GT Arizari up to the second position past teammate Curtis Preston. That number 14 Ford Mustang looking very strong as the run goes on. So he might not get here at the end of stage 1, but I tell you what, or into stage 2, sorry. He has a good shot going into that final stage with a 60 lap run.
Yeah, and it's just, I talk about it all the time where the race really doesn't start until that final stage. The first 2 stages, you're just trying to position yourself for the best track position you can for that final stage. And GT is in prime position here, and I was honestly a bit surprised. Curtis Preston, these guys were able to keep up with Kevin for quite a while, and Curtis kind of challenged to the inside of that 9 car a couple times, but it's kind of fallen off a little bit since then.
Yeah, he's definitely started to fall back, and I tell you, the 25 Ryan Bean putting a little pressure on that 29. So Curtis Preston, as this race transitions on, doesn't look as strong as he possibly did here. But I tell you what, if he can learn a thing or two from GT Arizari, his teammate there from Slide Jobs Racing, it will be interesting to see, because that 14 looking very strong at the moment. Oh, look at him go up the groove. Let's see if this is something he was talking to you about, Brandon. I know about that line he runs here longer in the run. We'll have to see if that can produce lap time for him.
Yeah, he said he really favored that kind of, second lane, that hybrid of just at the top of the bottom lane and the bottom of the middle lane. He said he was able to get a really good run out of turn 4 running it. And his lap times, that last time by, he fell off a little bit, but before that, he was the quickest car on the track and pretty easily running down the 9 of Kevin Jadrosic.
Yeah, and that time by, he went faster that time. So that was good to see, but definitely went back to the bottom there. Seemed like he did lose a little bit of time doing that line, but it looked good. It definitely looked good at first. Not sure how well it replicates for laps, but we'll have to see if he can use that here at some point, as we are under 5 to go here at stage number 2 here for the RSR Cup Series.
And last time by, GT just under a 10th slower than Kevin Jadrosic. So he's definitely reeling in. I don't think quite enough time. Maybe these lap cars will come into factor, but looks like another second place for the stage as it's running right now for GT.
I tell you what, it's setting up to be a heck of a battle between these two. If we can get a somewhat long green run to end this race, I think Jadrosic will have to think about that 14 here. Especially when they get in traffic, I think that's going to help GT even more. They get in traffic, it can bring that 9 back to him here, as you can see. Riding on board here, Ryan Bean trying to take that 3rd spot possibly from Curtis Preston, last season's champion. Fights to the inside off the exit 2 here, gets a decent run down the back straightaway, but Preston has the better run out the outside line. He's going to fall back into that 4th position.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of the outside lane on the older tires there. You can just kind of straighten the wheel out and really put the power down a lot better than the guy that's trying to make the pass to the inside. Travis Everett now trying to contest the 25 Orion Bean.
I tell you what, it's getting pretty spicy here to end this stage. I tell you what, this next time by right here, white flag in the air, one final time for Kevin Jadrosic. About a half a second lead back to the 14 of GT Arizari, who is definitely closed in as this run has continued on here, but not going to have enough time to run down that number 9. Number 9 coming around to get that stage number 2 here for lap number 80 for the RSR Cup Series. There it is. Check the flag for the 9.
Yeah, another flawless stage for the 9 of Kevin Jadrosic, but we know he's quick for 40 laps, but it looks like GT is going to be a bit quicker for a little longer than that, and that's what they're going to be facing for this final stage.
That's possibly what we're going to see. Okay, we see the battle between this 14 and this 9. I tell you what, it's interesting to see. I think if GT can stay in second, he'll have a better shot at it. But teammate Curtis Preston there, making it not easy on GT there to get that second position, or not easy to get up or stay in that second position with his speed he shows on the short run. So it's going to be an interesting classic battle down to the end here at the RSR Cup Series as these drivers hit pit road before we have a chat with Kevin Giadricic.
And I'm thinking, Zach, that this is going to be a matter of the green flag pit stop that we're most likely going to see for this last stage. The timing of it is going to determine the leader. It's so close right now between Kevin and GT that whoever just times that pit stop better, I believe, is going to be end up being the winner.
We'll have to see who can get this pit stop off. Let's say Giadricic will run the race off pit road. GT Arizari coming out in that second position. Curtis Preston third. Travis Everett fourth. Ryan Bean fifth. And now we'll pull up your stage number 2 winner of Kevin Giadricic. It's been almost a flawless race so far from this man's point of view. But let's see what he has to say going into this final stage here to Brandon Cobb.
Hey, Kevin, once again, Brandon up here in the booth. How's it going?
It's going, guys. I know y'all can see that one. God, I'm pumped right now. Every lap right now. Oh, bro, I'm stoked.
Yeah, you're having a pretty flawless race so far. Led every lap from the pole, just pulling out when you need to. And it seemed like I got a question about it. Were you potentially saving just a little bit during that last stage? Because it looked like it took you a little bit longer to kind of pull away from these guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to save. You know, once I see GT or Curtis get, you know, so far back, I'll start saving it. But the big thing there, and I was just telling my teammate, the big thing there is the car handled worse. It felt like that run, but my tire wear was better. So it's I don't know what's going on there. I'm curious to see how this last stage will play out.
Yeah, and that's something we talked about, that for whatever reason, you know, you slap on that new set of tires and the track just feels completely different and really hard to stay on top of. But you managed it pretty well, man, and got to wish you the best of luck for this final stage here. And see if you go 3 for 3 and come talk to us again.
Guys, I promise you, I'm going to try my best.
All right, but looking forward to the action here and wish you the best of luck.
All right, that was Kevin Giadricic. He's going to try his best. I mean, we see what his best has been so far, and it's been pretty darn good, I must say. So
that's confidence right there.
Yeah, definitely some confidence there, that number 9 machine. I tell you what, but he's definitely proven it tonight. He's the man to beat. Practice qualifying in both stages, going home to this man's name. If he pulls off this victory, I mean, he's pretty much pulled off, I would say, a clean sweep of the whole race.
Well, talking about it, the mid-race recap here. Kevin Giadricic, pole winner, both stage winners, and only one caution right at the start of the second stage. So been a pretty uneventful race, but still a lot of battles on the track.
A lot of battles on the racetrack, a lot of clean racing that we've got to witness, and it's been fantastic so far from all us up here in the booth at Freaky Fast. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight and showing your love and support for your favorite drivers as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing, green is in the air. Kevin Giadricic off and away. Battle for second is what we're going to be watching here as Curtis Preston to the inside of GT Arizari for second to see if he can make that outside work for GT. Can he get past his teammate Curtis Preston?
Well, I believe he can. You see, he just kind of lays out of it here, gets himself back in line, and let the tires get up to temp before he really starts making a go at it. He gets a great run out of 4, though.
Back to the inside here, down to 1. GT Arizari looking for that second spot. He has yet to win this season, and that 14 was one of the dominant cars throughout the entire season last season. And I tell you what, he is here to play tonight in that Mustang, Ford Mustang, as they head down the front straightaway. He's up the second. Can he cause this 9 any worries?
Well, the best way to find out, get up there and put some pressure on him, make him, you know, let him know you're right there, and try to force a mistake at him, force a bit of an overdrive, make him, you know, take him out of his comfort zone. He's been pretty much running by himself for a majority of this race here, only contending with cars that are happy to let him go on by. So that pressure is going to go a long way, and GT put down the quickest lap of the race that last time by.
Yeah, and you know what? That just shows he's got short run speed also here as we right on board with him. So not only does he have that long run speed, and the thing I like that looks on his car, his drive off is just fantastic. all of his momentum goes forward through off the exit of the corners. It's never out to the side or lateral movement. It's always a straight exit. And I tell you what, Jadricic, I don't think he thought he would have pressure this early from this 14, but this 14 is here to play, and he is all over the back bumper here as we go down into 1. He's going to look to the inside here for the lead.
Well, forced of an overdrive there for Kevin to feint that inside, make him really send it in there and open up the door for the 14. And looks like GT finally to the inside here. Kevin just a little bit wide going into 3 though.
See if he can bounce back in this 9 here on the outside line. GT is already going to lead that lap there. 14 to lead, new leader of this race. Can he clear here off of 1 and 2? He gets clear of that 9, but the 9 tries to make a run back at him. Cannot do it here as we head down to 3 and 4. GT Rosario, your new leader here in this race in that number 14 machine.
Well, now Kevin's really going to have to deal with something he hasn't had to deal with much this race, and that's dirty air. You know, he hasn't spent a lot of time behind anybody else other than lap cars that weren't racing him too hard. So going to see how his tire wears changes up and how his handling changes throughout this race the longer he stays behind that 14.
See if he can learn anything also. You know, Kevin has not been behind anybody all race. It could be something he's saying, man, I'm doing that completely wrong, actually. And fix it up. You never know. I'm telling you, smart drivers learn very quickly. And you're seeing John Willett up to the top 5 now from that 18th position. And Giadrich is back to the inside of GT, heading into 3. That's going to send Irizarry up the racetrack. And I tell you what, this battle ain't over as Irizarry's going to go back to the inside down to 1 and 2.
Yep, he used that line that he said he was really liking where he could get a good run and set him up for the crossover. Not quite the run out of turn 2 that he needed as he slides back in line here in second.
Man, this battle is not over yet, I think, ladies and gentlemen, as Giadricic will take that lead back, but GT always says, I got you now. I'm in your head, and I am here to play, as he is not letting that 9 get away. And that's the thing. I mean, we've seen him be quicker on the longer portion of the run. If he can stay this close to him and still be quicker, it will be impressive to see that 14, because I tell you, he'll be knocking on the door for that lead.
Absolutely. You know, and one thing he's also got to remember is that he does have that long run speed. He can afford to sit back and wait a little bit. Don't try to grab too much here and, you know, mess up your speed for the end of this run. Just trying to slide it in and make passes and really heat up your tires. He's done a great job so far. He knows he's got the speed now that he can get back to that 9. Just stay with him and make the 9 have to try to drive away from you.
Looking throughout this field here, looking at Michael Sheffield in that 1. He's in that 12th position right now, starting in 6th. He's got Matthew Rush there directly behind him, looking for his first top 10 of the season in at number 11. And Nathan Campbell directly heading to 52. I think Sheffield's going to need a long run. That's where his strength is if he wants to be able to crack into his top 10 or top 5.
Well, he's got his opportunity here. This is going to be the longest run that they're going to have during the race, barring any kind of caution. And, you know, I was told to watch out for him on the long run, and now he's got his chance to shine here. So I imagine Sheffield will be cracking into the top 10 here before too long.
My question is, Brandon, can these drivers make it? You know, that's a tough question to ask myself, because, you know, we went back green flag racing there on lap 86. Really the completion of 85. So we're looking at about 55 laps still left in this race.
I will tell you with certainty that they cannot make it.
Yeah, I was about to say, with 40% fuel, I just don't see the fact that they can make it. So this may not be the longest, you know, this may not be too long of a run. It's going to be interesting to see when drivers start hitting pit roads. I think we already have a few cars hitting pit road right now.
From here, they can make it, but to be right on the edge of that, ooh, as Sheffield slides a little bit up into the 112 cabin rough into turn 1.
Oh, man. That's going to cause some mayhem.
In order for them to pit and make it right at the edge of their fuel window, they would have had to have pit right around 96, and that would have been the absolute edge sputtering across the line.
Interesting, man. am really intrigued to see when these guys pit, because this is going to be a tricky timing of the situation, because if you get a caution during these pit stops, you could go from, having a chance to win this race to not even having a chance to finish in the top 15.
And that's what I was talking about before. The timing of this this pit stop that they're gonna have to make, and it's gonna be in the next 15 laps or so. I imagine for a lot of these guys, I don't think anybody's really gonna try to stretch it too far to the end. Um, but GT and Kevin, they're gonna be thinking, I've got to pit right with the other guy, and no later than a lap after, if I want to have a chance at this, and they don't get too far ahead.
Oh man, there's so many possibilities playing out here in the RSR Cup Series. We're under 40 to go here for round number 8. Can we get a first-time winner this season? It's very possible at this moment we could be seeing a first-time winner throughout the 2021 season here.
Well, we've got Nolan Potter and Adam Buzzio on pit road right now, getting the call that Kevin Ruff's going to be coming in this time by. See if anybody else follows suit.
Yeah, I tell you what, the 2 drivers out front right now, those drivers have not, broken into the win column yet. And they're both drivers who won last season in the playoffs. So they're going to try to break through here in round number 8 to see if they can get themselves farther up that point stand.
Well, and I know they both definitely want to win. Getting a win early in the season to lock yourself into the playoffs, it just takes such a weight off your shoulders. You can come out and have just a lot more fun racing. You can take a lot more chances and just try to go for wins just to have wins, and have a lot more fun and just get ready and kind of focus on those races that are going to happen during the chase, and start practicing for those early. Is Curtis Preston now hitting pit road?
That's right. Drivers hitting pit road here to get their final set of tires. Here's the top 3 GTers, Harry and Travis Everett, yet to pit. I tell you what, it's a risky call pitting right now, because you got to put a lot of faith in everybody to be able to not have any incidences here to cause any issues.
Yeah, and looking at it now, Adam Buzzio now making his way around the leaders on his fresh tires. Nearly gets into the back row leader. Yeah. And that's what they got to be careful of. This is the most dangerous time during the race, is these green flag pit cycles.
Yeah, there goes Adam Buzzio to the inside. Can GT RSR use that to his advantage here? He's going to try to get up the inside, but cannot do it. I tell you what, that was very close up front between the 55 and the 9. That could have been detrimental to him as he slides up the racetrack again a little bit, but not enough of a run there from the 14 to get into position here. But I tell you what, behind that, Travis Everett turning the fastest times on the racetrack.
Yeah, using the lack of momentum that these guys are having and having to get out of line for that lap car coming around them, kind of breaking their rhythm a bit, and Travis Everett using it to his advantage, closing that gap.
See what type of gap he can close in here. See if he continues to shrink that lead. He lost about 2/10 that last time by, so those two getting back out and clear track helped them. But they're going to have to definitely start thinking about a pit stop here very soon, because we're under 30 to go now, and if you wait too long, it's going to be an issue. But I think you got to wait, though, because you're risking so much by pitting early. Yeah, you get a lot of time built up here under green, but if you do get a caution by pitting early, you're going to be stuck on the mold set of tires, and you could be a sitting duck.
You absolutely could. And looking at the pit stop lap for these guys, I think they've got another 8 laps, I believe, is the max that they can make it. So within the next 8 laps, we'll be seeing the remainder of the field hitting pit road here.
At the moment, still out front, Kevin Giadricic yet to pit here. I think you got to do it pretty soon, because it's getting down to the nitty-gritty, almost 25 to go here.
Yeah, you've got to give yourself enough time to make a pass if you get jumped on pit road, cycling out. If you wait too long, you're just not going to have enough time to use the fresher tires.
Man, oh man, it's getting down to that point where I think the drivers got to start thinking about that pit stop. these three still yet to pit out front. Same with John Ouellette, Craig Burns, Trevor Massetti, Dustin Stallings. A lot of drivers are yet to elect to pit this. So, tell you what, Curtis Preston right now out here running 22 ones out on this track by himself, or really 21.882 to our leaders, 22.60. So almost a second faster for Curtis Preston each lap, and he pitted about 3 seconds behind these guys, and it's been more than 3 laps. So he should cycle ahead of these cars. So I'm telling you, if they get too worried about each other, then they're going to cause an issue with the other guys who undercut them.
Absolutely, and you've got to pay attention to more than just the guy directly ahead of you or directly behind you. And Curtis Preston with a bold strategy move to pit a little bit early. And it could pay off pretty well. And like I said, they may just not have enough time. They're going to have fresher tires, be a little bit quicker. But the difference in tires between them and Curtis Preston is not going to be as big as Curtis Preston and them right now. They're just not going to have enough time with coming to take lap 120 here at a 140. So they're going to have to start making these pit stops really soon.
Yeah, pit stops got to be on their mind here as we're nearing that 20 to go point. It's rough. I mean, Jadrich right now definitely starting to stretch his legs a little bit with the lap time wise, and starting to put cars a lap down in between him and GT. But you can't get too one sided here, and they're here 20 to go now. I think you got to hit pit road now with 20 to go.
I think you're absolutely right. If I was GT, I'd be coming in this time by, and just have Kevin have to run an extra lap over you.
Will we see anybody elected?
Here it goes. With this amount of laps left, I don't think you're going to see 2 tires. I just don't think it's going to pay off that well. Later, if we got a caution here in the next 5 laps, anybody who hasn't pit that can make it, I think you take 2 tires then.
Yeah. It definitely could be interesting to see here. Watch GT in his pit box here. No mistakes from this 14. They drop the right side of that car, go over to the left. They jack the left side up, put the left side tires on, and he will exit pit road here and come out. Let's see how far behind he will be Curtis Preston. That's the car I got to look for. Curtis Preston going into turn 3 and 4 as GT is just getting up to speed on the back straightaway. So he's going to have about a whole corner and a half a straightaway on him. It's almost a straightaway lead for Curtis Preston over teammate GT RSR. And I tell you what, there's going to be some other cars that undercut that are going to be trying to hold the 14 off. So this could hold him up. I mean, it gets pretty interesting here now as
oh boy.
And that is exactly why these guys waited so long. And I think it might have been, was that the one of Michael Sheffield possibly here involved? And yes, it was. I'll have to go back on the Freaky Fast replay here for our 4th caution tonight, brought to you by Orr Nissan Central. Exiting off of turn number 2 here on them. I think he was just on fresh tires, guys, and that caught him off guard there. And the one of Michael Sheffield goes around, spins that car, bringing out the caution here to set up a wild finish. I tell you what, the guys who stayed out here now are looking pretty smart, because I tell you what, it's going to be a huge issue for these other guys having to take a wave.
Yeah, it's a lifesaver for Craig Burns, Dustin Stallings, Nathan Campbell, Matthew Rush, those guys that just happen to stay out. Curtis Preston just looking like he got his lap back.
And if he doesn't pit, these guys aren't going to get the wave, Brandon.
Yeah, that's disastrous for GT and Kevin Jadrich. That was the absolute worst timing for that caution that they could have ever had.
They may be ahead of him, though. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out, everybody. But we'll get you the running order once it updates from these pit stops. But, man, I tell you, this is going to shake everything up. And these drivers are going to have a tough time now being able to make that up in the last 15 laps.
Well, looking at it, I believe they are going to be ahead of Curtis. So they will get the wave around, but they're going to be back in traffic here and have to fight with looking like going to be 10 to go when we get back green, I think.
Oh, man. Going to be a wild finish here on Freaky Fast Broadcast. Make sure y'all stay tuned in here to see exactly what happens to your favorite drivers here at the RSR Cup Series. And it's been a pleasure to call tonight here, round number 8, as it always is here at the Evolution Racing Leagues. It's going to be a fun battle down to the end. Make sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button here on YouTube and the Facebook platforms. We would love to see that here. Get some reactions there. Let us know who you're rooting for coming down to the very end of this race.
And I gotta say, Curtis Preston, it worked out pretty well for him, cycling around to be the leader with this caution. But Craig Burns, Dustin Stallings directly behind him. It's about a 15-lap difference on tires. It's not going to work out very well for him. And then behind him, even more on fresher tires. I think it's just Curtis Preston and Nolan Potter about on equal tires, but everybody else about a 15 or more lap difference than those two. So I imagine Curtis Preston's going to be dropping like a rock after this restart.
Yeah, it's and I tell you, Giadrich going to be in the 17th, GT 18th. Those guys are going to have to just try to break back into the top 10. I don't think there's going to be much of a shot for them for a victory here tonight. But man, that's what I was saying. When you have, with the way the stage is working with the fuel limit that they have, it's tough, man. It's so tough to actually put yourself in the right position and make the right call. I mean, those guys were trying to stay out as long as they could to see if that caution happened. As soon as they're like, man, we have to pit now or we're going to lose so much time, the caution bites them. And, that's when you're like, man, I should have waited another lap. But you just never know. It's the thing about racing. You never know when a caution is going to come.
Yeah, it is incredibly frustrating. I'm sure you've been on the bad end of that. I know I've been on the bad end of it. You have a good race strung together, and just the timing of a caution at the worst possible moment for you bites and puts you back in the field like that.
It's a tough pill to swallow, as they say. I guess you could say it's just one of the things. Is we're back green. Curtis Preston. Want to see if he can hold off here in the final 11 laps. He's on the older tires. Craig Burns, fan favorite. He has a good shot at this. Same with Dustin Stallings there in that number 52. You got the 11 of Matthew Rush. Oh, we have a caution here brought to you by Warning Central. And I believe it might be Giadrich in the 9, the man who won stage 1 and 2. And, oh, man, it is unfortunate here, as we're going to have to look back on this replay here. The Freaky Fast replay. 3 wide exiting the corner, GT and Kevin trying to get by Kevin Ruff. There's the 081 Jeff Carson on the outside lane. Or a slow car there on the outside, and just unfortunately those two make some contact, and that sends the 9 headfirst to the wall. And I tell you what, his night went from amazing to terrible in literally just a matter of the last 10 laps.
Yeah, it take a lot of solace in the fact that he was able to get those 20 bonus points, but coming home 20th after having such a really dominating car. You heard the confidence during his interview. He knew how much speed he had, and those are the worst races to lose, when you feel like nothing can touch you, and just circumstances like this, and then it just kind of goes from bad to worse. Gotta feel for the guy.
Definitely got a feel for the guy there, and I tell you, Curtis Preston, he did a good job to hold off the lead there for that little bit of time there. He's going to be in a tough spot to hold this off, but if he can just cool the tires and get enough grip out of them, he could possibly still be looking at pulling off a victory here on these older set of tires. We've seen him do it at Indy.
Yeah, and this caution here really only helps Curtis. It cuts down the amount of laps he's going to have to try to hold off Craig. And, like you said, he can cool down the tires again. And if they get another one, especially, only having those 2 laps, especially with the jump that he's able to get on the restarts, he's really only going to have to fend off that 12 car for about a lap. And it's looking really well for him. He's still got a decent chance at it now, especially with this caution.
Definitely has a great shot at this. But I tell you got Dustin Stallings, too. He's a winner from last season. He's right there in the picture. You got Matthew Rush. Remember, we were talking about how his great qualifying position hadn't had the greatest run throughout this race, but he could possibly break into the top 3, top 5 here tonight, get that first top 10 and top 5 in his book. You got Nathan Campbell there in the 5th position, Kevin Zabledil in 6th, Chad Biesinger in 7th, Zach Strittenthal 8th, 9th is Brock Potter, and 10th is Stephen Baldwin was the first car to go a lap down in this race. Rusty Modesty, one of the cars that, he had an incident there on a restart. There's huge implications that played out here during these cautions that we've had.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin in the 18 up 25 positions in that 10th spot. And, we talk about who we think's going to win. I want to know what chat thinks. Anybody out there in chat, I want to know who you think's going to win this race right now, because it's so up in the air right now.
Make sure you go out there and check our merch store out there, too. We got a lot of new merch out there, and see what you like. Well, Brandon, it's I don't, I know Curtis Preston, such a strong driver, champion season. He has the strength and mental strength to pull this off. I just think that's for this 39 right now to be able to hold this off with the rubber he has behind him.
I think so, and he's not really even going to be able to keep Craig from getting to him. The thing is, he's got to hope that Craig is not going to be willing to use the bumper, and that's going to be something else I was going to ask. Do we maybe see the front couple take each other out and open it up for, maybe Matthew Rush or Dustin Stallings, even Nathan Campbell to sweep in and take the win? We've seen it last week.
We'll have to see here. Live on Freaky Fast, here it goes. Green flag back in the air. 5 to go here from the Richmond Raceway for round number 8. Curtis Preston, great start on the older rubber. Can he hold off this field here as they pack it into turn 1? Here is Craig Burns all over the back bumper, a little bit loose for that 12, but they're wrecking in the back here. Looks like they're going to save it going down into 3, but I think there will be a wreck down into 3. No, they all save it and keep it straight. Looks like Craig Burns going to have a shot here down into 1. 4 to go. Preston drives it in deep, but the 12 has the rubber. He gets to the inside. Craig Burns with the run out of turn 2, but here comes Stallings in the 93. Multiple drivers looking for great finishes here tonight.
You can fend off that outside lane on older tires, but with the fresh rubber on the inside, I just don't think you're going to be able to do it for long. I think it's only a matter of time, but there's not much time left.
3 to go here at Richmond. It is going. Oh, here comes Craig Burns off of 2. He's going to clear that 29. He takes the lead here. And I tell you what, it's getting spicy, guys, here as we head down to 3. Who is sliding sideways? They saved it. Brock Potter in the 4 saves it, but he keeps it going. And, oh, wow. There is the caution. I tell you what, that was trying to come out there for the last 2 laps as we had guys entering 3 sideways each lap. We'll have to see exactly what happened there. As I do not exactly know what brought that. Looks like the 88 of Trevor Massetti and the 112 of Kevin Ruff. Some contact between those 2 drivers to bring out this caution here for the green white checkered attempt number 1 here tonight.
Well, looking at it, Zach, Trevor Massetti got loose coming out of turn 2. Kept it trying to get it saved, but there was more going on ahead of him. Just went a little bit too hot into turn 3 and got the left rear of Kevin Ruff.
Looks like, man, that was unfortunate there as Craig Burns was able to take the lead. Here's Kevin Stabila here on the Freaky Fast replay. I believe this is already after the incident had happened down in 3 and 4, but it's a contact between that 112 and that 88 leading down to what has brought this yellow out. We're going to have our first green-white checkered attempt here tonight. Live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the RSR Cup Series. Now it gets even crazier, Brandon. I mean, Craig Burns, I'm liking this. If I'm Craig Burns, he has the ability to control the restart. He just needs to make 2 clean laps, and he could win his first race here at the RSR Cup Series.
Yeah, he's got a really good chance at it here, but anything can happen, man. My heart was racing during that last restart and the run these guys were getting. I don't know what's going to happen. Also got to give a quick update for a bit more contact during that last incident. 81 of John Willett got into the left rear of Brock Potter, sent him sideways, came back down and collected GT. on his right side. GT able to keep it going, but crinkled the right side of that Mustang week Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a great job by him. He's almost broke back into the top 10. He's up to 11th. So if he can salvage a top 10 out of this, it's, not the night he wanted, I'm sure, because he was, definitely a top 3 car here tonight. But definitely will take a top 10 after having to drive back from 18th with 10 laps to go, pretty much.
Yeah, that considering the circumstances, that is a fantastic result. Obviously not the one you wanted, but you can't complain too much with that.
No, you definitely can. Just got a feel for Kevin Giadricic out there. He's up back to 17th in that 9, so he could possibly still get a few more spots here down at the end. But man, I definitely got a feel for him for a dominating performance here tonight, but not going to be able to pull that off. And that's racing for you, man. It's a cruel, cruel world out there in racing sometimes, and it definitely can take away wins that you feel like you have almost in your back pocket.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you everybody for sitting with us here and watching this RSR Cup Series action. And get ready. Don't look away from your screen. First attempt at a green-white checkered here, and I'd imagine we're probably going to use both of them.
Well, I tell you what, that's why you got 2 of them, right? Might as well use them.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well go to 3.
Here we are in the first OT of the RSR Cup Series here at the Richmond Raceway. Can Craig Burns pull off his first win here at the RSR Cup Series? This will be a special, special night here for that 12. If he can pull this off here, he's going to look to restart this time from the lead. Dustin Stallings in that outside lane, that 93. He's got the 29 of Curtis Preston third. 4th is the 11 of Matthew Rush. 5th, Nathan Campbell. Pace car in this time. Craig Burns takes off. What a restart for him. He gets the gap he needs to head down to 1. Side by side with Curtis Preston and Dustin Stallings to head to 1. Can anybody make anything happen? Who is that? We got a car dead sideways, head first into the wall. And I'm not exactly sure who that was, but that was a hard lick for one of those drivers. And I think it was I believe that was the 2 of Zach Schrittenthal. Oh, yeah, he got a little bit of help there, guys. Bring out our Nissan Central caution here and bring out this wreck here in turn 2. We'll go back on the Freaky Fast replay. Check out, here's the 2 down here in the bottom. It's going to happen up in front of these drivers up here as you see the 2's in the outside wall. And then, from there, calamity. And that's what's going to bring out our cautions. 2 got a little bit of help there from the 59, Travis Everett, in 1.
Yeah, that's just trying to defend your spot there on a green-white checkered restart. And Zach, knowing he was coming in shallow into the entry, gave it a little bit more of a breaking point, or a little bit earlier of a breaking point that Travis was just not expecting. A little bit of a bump there. Unfortunate result for the 2 car.
Yeah, and man, a bunch of cars getting caught up in that there to bring out that yellow. But now we go to OT number 2. Curtis Preston back up the 2nd. Dustin Stallings back to 3rd. So it's just kind of reset the 2nd and 3rd spot. Man, double overtime here tonight at the Richmond Raceway. Can Craig Burns, the fan favorite, pull off a fan favorite win here?
I think it's very likely. And also, caught up in that wreck, the 18 of Stephen Baldwin went from heartwarming to heartbreaking for the 18 car. We talked about him breaking his way into the top 10 after being the first car a lap down tonight. Caught up in that wreck and now scored 23rd.
It's terrible to hear there for himself, man. He's just when it's not your night, it's not your night, and sometimes you get a glimpse of something bright happening, and then it's all taken away, unfortunately, with the cruel mistress of a race, man. It's so tough in stock car racing to keep your position all night long and stay out of little tiny mistakes that get you caught up in stuff, and it's the name of the game here in stock car racing, they say.
Man, I'm absolutely nervous.
Yeah, this is the point of the race where I almost get quiet because I'm like just in the driver's head, this is the nerves. And I just put myself in Craig Burns' position, you got a chance to win a race here. And I tell you what, my throttle foot would be a little bit shaky, possibly, right here to pull off my first victory. And it's tough. It's a tough place. You can make a mistake so easy getting down into one here start that it's so easy to do, and I'm nervous for these guys out here. Mostly nervous for Craig.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. As a driver, I hate the green white checkers, especially from the lead. You want to have that gap where nobody's within reach of you, especially at a short track. You do not want to be in the lead, taking the white flag and then getting the bumper on the white flag lap. And it's just so nerve-wracking, and I guarantee you his adrenaline's pumping right now, and that throttle foot is shaking.
Oh, that's for sure, man. It's the big thing I think he can take away from this is at least he has his because we have Front Row Racing is what Craig A. Burns' team is, but they have a partnership with Flyboys Racing, which Dustin Stallings is on. So there could be some communication between there and the 93 to maybe possibly time this restart pretty well, possibly.
If I'm Craig Burns, I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm going when I want to, and you're gonna have to hope you catch it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's if Craig Burns is worried about the 93. Is that his biggest threat, or is it Curtis Preston? We'll have to see here. Pace car in this time. Craig Burns back away, and great restart for him, but not the greatest through the gears. Here comes the 93 of Dustin Stallings to the inside. Great restart from the 12, but going through the gears was the problem. Side by side as they go through two here. Curtis Preston in position now. Oh, the 12 into the wall. Here comes Dustin Stallings. The 12 backs it down into 3 and 4. I think that's going to be a little bit overdriven. That's going to let the 93 of Stallings back by here with the white flag in the air. One final time to go. Brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. Down to 1 and 2. The 12 all over the back bumper of the 93 as they exit through 1 and 2. Can he get the run? Doesn't look like they're wrecking behind in the 17th of Kevin Zabaldil. Doesn't matter though. Head down to 3 and 4. Dustin Stallings is going to come out of 4 and win the race. Curtis Preston second. Craig Burns third. What a finish. Oh, you got to feel for Craig, but great win for Dustin Stallings in the 93.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscue on a restart, man, and that's the nerves. You get inside your own head, make a little bit of a mistake there when all the chips are down, and unfortunate, still a top 3, but man, it would suck to lose one like that.
So tough to see that happen to Craig Burns at 12 there on that final restart, but great win for Dustin Stallings. I tell you what, that's a heck of a season so far, or really not a heck of a season. I'd say just not a great season so far for Dustin Stallings, and he's bounced back here with the win tonight at Richmond. And we'll have to see what he has to say, but we will take a break here, and we will be back here in a few moments, everybody. All right, we're back here at the RSR Cup Series after round number 8 has come to a end at the Richmond Raceway. What a fantastic finish down to the end, double overtime finish. And it looks like Dustin Stallings going to bring home that victory. But first up in our interview rounds, we had the man leading coming to that final green white checker to Craig A. Burns. Unfortunately, unable to bring it back in first. He will bring it home in that third position. Third position. So let's hear what he has to say about tonight's third. Hey, Craig, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Craig, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Down at the very end there, leading us to a double overtime, green white checkered. Take us through that last restart.
Yeah, great. First off, great win for Dustin. Great racing with Curtis. Those guys, heck of racers out there, week in, week out. Man, I just left the door open for him and won. And right there, I knew I let one go. But live and you learn, and hopefully next week at Talladega will be a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunate there, man, for that. But I tell you what, a great run nonetheless for yourself. That caution coming out there, shaking everything up. You called it right with the strategy there tonight. Able to put yourself in position there at the end. This is going to be your first top 10, top 5 through the first 8 races this season, man. So how does it feel to maybe get some momentum rolling on the side of that 12 car?
Yeah, we've been down the dumps lately. I don't know what's going on. Just luck hasn't been going our way, but yeah, hopefully we get a little snowball effect and roll into next week and following week, and hopefully grab a win.
That would be great to see, man. We're definitely waiting for that day to happen. It would be great to see you here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Man, Craig, I tell you what, unfortunate, you couldn't pull that off there at the end, but I tell you what, still a great run nonetheless here tonight, man, in third. And next week at Talladega should be something to watch, as you're always a good plate racer there. So we'll see how you can do there. But, man, congrats on third. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go, Craig?
Shout out to all these guys at Lucent Racing League, everyone that puts on the show, Ryan, Steve, Michael Sheffield, Trevor Massey. These guys work behind the scenes a lot, do a great job, Shout out to everyone on my team, front row, and Fly Boys there. Shout out to my dad. I know he's out there watching. Shout out to you. You guys do a heck of a job up there in the booth.
Well, thank you very much, Craig. We appreciate it, man. And we will catch you next week at Talladega.
Okay, man. Have a good night.
Yep, you too. All right, that was Craig A. Burns there in that 12 machine, bringing home that third position tonight. First top 5 and top 10 of the season for him in that 12, almost a victory. Now we'll bring up last season's champion, Curtis Preston, after a well-needed run here tonight in that 29. He was able to get the strategy right and bring home that second place position on the motor tires. Hey, Curtis, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, great finish there for yourself, man. I tell you what, all night up in the picture, top 3, top 5 all night long. Seems like the rest of your competition there got caught under that caution, and you were able to time it perfectly, pitting a little bit earlier, get back on that lead lap, and be in position there, even with the older tires, to come home with the victory. I tell you what, man, you did a great job personally from my point of view, finishing still in that second position with the older tires. Coming down to his final restarts, leading the way on the older tires. What's going through your mind?
Hold it on the bottom. Don't come off the yellow line, and that's exactly what I did. And like you said, they just had fresher rubber, and I slipped up off the bottom, and he got a nose in there, and that was all she wrote. I couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah, like you said, there on the bottom definitely would have been crucial there, but unfortunately, man, that rubber, it definitely helps a lot for sticking to that bottom there. So you couldn't pull it off there, man. But I tell you what, great job by you still staying in that second position, staying down in it to the very end with the 12 and the 93 battling for the win. Next week we head to Talladega. I know it's a little bit of a a wild card race, but do you think we can get that 29 out there in victory lane possibly?
Well, we're going to try to, but I think everybody in here is going to be gunning for that 25. I think he's won the last 2 plate races. So they got a good group of guys over there too. That whole team, they work real good together on the plate tracks. Of course, our group's either. We'll just see. I mean, it's rolling the dice. You know how Talladega goes.
Definitely is. Definitely a roll of the dice. It'll be fun to watch here live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, man. I tell you what, it was a pleasure calling it tonight, Curtis. Congrats on second. Before we let you go, man, anybody wants to shout out to you in that Jim Beam Black Machine?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out as always to all the guys at SJR, man. We had a really good team effort tonight. We had probably could have put all 4 cars in the top 10. Did we not have that late race caution there to start it out? But always think Ryan Azell. He does a great job with all this stuff. Or Nissan Central, ButtKicker, Sheffield Graphics, and of course, last but not least, you guys in the booth for the awesome job you do.
Well, thank you very much, Curtis, man. We appreciate you guys out on track, and it's been a pleasure to call. We'll catch you next week at Talladega, buddy.
All right, guys, looking forward to it.
All right, you have a good night. That was Curtis Preston there in the 29, able to bring home that second place finish after staying out in that old rubber, able to bring him a very good finish, one he deserved. But I tell you what, first win of the season, not first win of the RSR Cup Series. I tell you what, because this man was able to pull off one last season, and that 93 was very strong at a few tracks, but just hasn't had the season that he probably has wanted. But I tell you what, it's a bounce back tonight here for the 93. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Dustin and Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
Yes, sir. I hear you.
All right, Dustin, I tell you what, man, what a finish it was for you here tonight to bounce back after really, I'd say, having a pretty tough season here to start off after, getting a victory last season. You come here tonight at Richmond, you play it right and, have the chance to come down here with the win, and, man, and you pull it off. So how, what's going through your mind in those final few green, white checker restarts?
There's a million things going on through my head before that last restart, and I know me and Craig had about the freshest tires out of the front, like top 5, but I just did not know what was going to happen on that restart. But ended up playing out well, and I'm just glad I was able to bring home the victory after how my season's been. It feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders for this season.
Yeah, that's definitely where I was going to go with that. This is your 7th start this season here at Richmond. You're going to bring home that first victory, but also along with that, it's the first top 5 and top 10. So, do you think this can kind of I guess I can take words from Craig Birds, snowball this into some momentum for the rest of the season, possibly?
Oh, I'm hoping so. It'd be a good shift of momentum for me and our team, because I feel like the team's been running pretty well here lately, and just the start of this season's been kind of like a pinball machine, honestly, compared to the end of last season. But I feel like our stuff is starting to fall into place and starting to compete for more wins.
It's good to see, man. Good to see that 93 back up there competing for a win. We know you can do it, so it was great to see you out there in your Fly Boys Racing, your Fly Boys Racing 93 out there putting on the victory here tonight. Y'all guys head to Talladega next week, a big teamwork race there, and I know you got some great teammates out there. How you expect Talladega to play out for you guys?
Hopefully our guys can just work together and try to come up with a solid game plan and try to stay out of the trouble that's going to happen. Always there's going to be a big one happening at Talladega. Just got to be at the right place at the right time. It's all about luck at the restrictor plate tracks.
It definitely is, my friend. Definitely has got to be the right place at the right time, like you were here tonight at Richmond. You never know at Talladega you could be sitting in victory lane with back-to-back. So we'll have to see next week if you can bring that back-to-back in that 93. But I tell you what, man, congrats on the victory here tonight, Dustin. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go, buddy?
I want to thank my girlfriend for letting me do this on Tuesday nights, and just my family. And I know sometimes they watch the races and cheer for me, but I also need to give a shout out to the good Lord upstairs. Couldn't be doing this without him, especially. But overall, I'd also like to thank the sponsor on my car, the Johnston County Animal Protection League. They do animal rescues and adoptions and whatnot. And just glad to have them aboard, and hope to keep giving them good races to see and give them good finishes.
Well, Dustin, congrats tonight on the win, man. And we will catch you next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
You have a great night. All right, that was Dustin Stones there, bringing home the victory here tonight in the RSR Cup Series. His first victory of this 2021 season through round number 8. I tell you, this season's been fantastic. If you've missed any of the races, make sure to go back and check them out, because I tell you what, you will not be disappointed with the racing that these guys put on here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and the RSR Cup Series. It's always super, super fun here up at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we'll head now to our unofficial race results to let you see where your favorite drivers finished tonight and see how they did, as it was shook up there at the end. Dustin Stallings bringing home that victory. Second's going to go to Curtis Preston. Third's going to be Craig Burns. John Wellett there finishing in that fourth position. Fifth is going to be Nathan Campbell. Sixth position, Travis Everett. Seventh's going to go to Matthew Rush. Eighth, Brock Potter. Ninth is Ryan Bean. 10th, Trevor Massetti. 11th, Kevin Ruff. 12th is James Courtrone. 13th is Bob Fitzpatrick. 14th, Kevin Giadricic after dominating tonight. 15th is Stephen Baldwin. 16th, Harold Watkins. 17th, Nolan Potter. 18th, Ryan Ezel. 19th, Rusty Modesty. 20th, GT Irizarry. 21st, Kevin Zabladale. 22nd, Daniel Gonzalez. 23rd, Adam Buzzio. 24th, Chad Biesinger. 25th is Michael Sheffield. 26th, Anthony Ewens. 27th, Zach Schrittenthal. 28th, Mark Andre Thibodeau. 29th is Jeff Carson. Rounding out your top 30 is Kevin Sibillan at 78. 31st is David Hall. 32nd, Junior Miller. 33rd, Andrew Little. 34th, Michael Martino. 35th, Tony Ludi. And that is our race results here tonight from the RSR Cup Series. I couldn't say any better words about tonight's race, how fantastic it was. But Brandon, do you have anything to add to it, man?
It's just an awesome race, man. Love Richmond. One of my favorite tracks to watch, especially when I get to broadcast it. But as much as I love short track racing in Richmond, I'm excited to get to my bread and butter and the plate tracks, man. I love calling those. So much fun, so much action, and I can't wait to see what those guys can do at Talladega.
Yes, it will be fun to see there at Talladega. Don't miss it live here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Remember, always on Tuesday nights here at the RSR Cup Series in the ARCA Evolution Series. So make sure not to miss it next week at Talladega. But now we'll send it up to Robert Moyer Jr. here to close out tonight's broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for calling an awesome race. Again, thank you to Evolution Racing League for putting on great action. We're expected to see some good battling coming up here in the future. As they said, we're heading off to Talladega next week with the ARCA cars and then with the Cup cars. So make sure you tune in next week to see where that all plays out, as we could have a first-time winner again next week here at Evolution Racing League. So, but I also want to say thank you to everybody out there for tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for all the support. Great showing that we had out there for the fans watching tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting here at Richmond with Evolution Racing League. But we're going to be off here with Underdog tomorrow. It's going to be me up in the booth with Lee Tidwell when we go live at 8:30 at Knoxville in the trucks. Yes, I said it right. Knoxville in the trucks. First time ever we're going to see trucks on Knoxville here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, running some dirt, as Zach is going to be taking a vacation day and getting ready for a Road to Pro. So Freaky Fast real quick wants to say to you guys, Zach and everybody, and Brandon, good luck, guys. And I know you guys got a strong truck that can battle out there. So, but all right, well, we're going to pack up and we'll talk to everybody later on. So we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.